It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Welcome to our 143rd consecutive cup of coffee with Wild Will and Uncle Chris from Slumberland at the lake. Man, time sure flies when you're having fun.
143 shows now? That's hard to believe. I'm not even that old, dude.
I know. We're glad to have you here recently as you just made your debut a couple weeks ago. But hey, on this week's show, we have a whole lot to talk about. Listen, Camden coach Jeff Shore inducted in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame as part of the Elite 11 class. We got to attend that event. We'll tell you about that. Some great lake area headlines. Hey, we got an update for you on the Oasis at Lakeport.
Wow. I drive by there quite a bit. They're working over there, aren't they?
They are indeed. Plus, hey, Osage girls golf back-to-back state champions. How about it?
That? 2 in a row, and they blew the competition away. They won like by 30-some shots or something. It was incredible. Congratulations, Osage.
Indeed, that, and we'll also look at football. District playoffs are here for the high school level. Mizzou wins, the Chiefs win. A lot to tell you about there. But hey, first I wanted to mention our good friends Michael and Debbie Betterton from Colorado Springs. Now, yours are on your deck for the, they sent you some sunglasses,
Yeah,
right?
some sunglasses that say Uncle Chris on them, right? How cool is that? So top of the hours when we do the Uncle Chris segment, I'm wearing those now. So that is greatness. Thank you for those. That's wonderful. I would have never thought of that.
And very thoughtful. They pay attention. Will's a big sports card collector, diehard Buffalo Bills fan, and this is Ahmad Rashad, wide receiver for the Bills in the 70s, and this is his 1974 Topps card, so that's a cool little prop. So big shout out to Michael and Debbie Betterton from Colorado Springs, Colorado. They watch every Saturday morning on YouTube.
Wow, and I've got some friends in Dallas that watch us every Sunday morning, so it's greatness, man. Thank you for watching.
And before we throw to break, got to give a shout out because our very own DJ Kyle Miller, he's real well known here on the lake. He's officially tied the knot with his beautiful bride, Shay, and they had a big reception.
Yeah, and so that was Saturday night. Went to that reception. It was at that really cool lighthouse place in Sunrise Beach, Lori area, so it was really neat. I'm telling you what, those people are so popular, Kyle and Shay. They had a ton of people there. There were more people at their wedding reception that were probably out at most of the bars and restaurants in the entire area that night. And Shay was out there dancing, and Kyle was out there dancing, and it was just a lot of fun. They're a perfect match, and I tell you what, if there's another couple that is more beloved in this community, I don't know who they are. Maybe you and Unique might be close, but I mean to tell you, you don't run into anybody in this community that doesn't love DJ Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say, you show me someone who doesn't love DJ Kyle Miller, I'll show you a liar.
That's right. I mean, and he is just the nicest, most wonderful guy in the universe. And he found his mate that's the same way, in Shay. So we're so happy for them. We love them so much.
And we're so blessed to have DJ Kyle as part of our team here on Lake TV. He's got his own show, Happy Hour with DJ Kyle. You can see it every single day on Lake TV. But hey, before we get into the rest of this week's show, a lot happening right here at Slumberland at the lake. And listen, it's football season, so on top of all the sales, something I want to remind you about is there are tons of recliners throughout the store, and it's a perfect time to add a new recliner, sit back and watch the game. And to tell us a little bit more, my man Daryl Cunningham.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're in our last week of our great fall sale. You need to come take advantage of these good deals. Interest-free financing for 36 months, which is going to go away after this sale. We deliver the entire lake area, all kinds of great prices, great financing, and great delivery. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
All right, so as we get started this week, man, super excited for a good friend of ours and a great football coach, among many other things, but Camden Lakers' own Jeff Shore was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame class as part of the Elite 11, and they had a luncheon ceremony last Wednesday down in Springfield, and what an event as Jeff Shore was honored, and man, it was really cool. was all of the support and how many people from Camdenton, from the Lake area, were at that luncheon in support.
There were like 8 full tables of Camdenton Lakers there. And I mean, we kind of sat right in the middle of them. But yeah, that's one of the things that makes Camdenton so special is the buy-in and the friendship from everybody there. But there were players that Jeff Shore played with and won state championships who are still living in the area, who were there at the game. Coach Parr Pitts, who was one of those players who won a state championship, was there. And the women's basketball coach, Stacy Caffey, activities director, Dr. Billy Kurtz. I mean, just a ton of people there. And I think some of them even took like a Black Hawk helicopter from Camdenton to Springfield to go to that. I mean, how cool is that?
Was that the school board president,
I
Gail
think so.
Griswold, and Dr. Sean Kirksey, the superintendent?
Yep.
But it such great representation. And what gets lost on a lot of people, Jeff Shore in his own right was one of the greatest student athletes to ever come through the District of Camdenton. And as the Sports Hall of Fame guide from that day read, I'll just read it, most fans these days probably know Shore as the former head coach of the Camdenton Lakers football program. The program itself inducted into the Hall of Fame as part of the 2016 class. He was the head coach for 11 years, and before that was an assistant, but he was a pretty good athlete himself, though he never lost a regular season game as a quarterback from 7th grade through his senior year in high school, although he wasn't the quarterback his sophomore year. Pretty crazy. He was All-State in 86 and 87 when Camdenton won state championships, and he won 26 consecutive games. On top of that, he was All-American quarterback those 2 years for Camdenton in 86, 87. Overall, he threw for 3,200 yards, completed over 70% of his passes with 51 touchdowns. And in 87, he led the state, a record that still holds today, with a 78% completion percentage, and at one point in time had completed 29 consecutive passes. That record was noted in the USA Today, and I believe that still stands today.
Wow.
The only other consecutive completion mark that I could find across the country that was noted was 19, meaning he would be 10 more completions above that record. He later was a redshirt freshman at the University of Arkansas, and then was a 3-year letterman at Missouri State as a wide receiver. Of course, in coaching, he worked for his dad, the legendary Bob Shore, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2004, and he helped the program win 2 state championships as a coach as well. He was 96 and 44 as a head coach, winning 3 Ozark Conference championships with 5 district titles, with 4 teams reaching the state quarterfinals. And that's all great, right? Pretty impressive in itself.
Yeah.
But he played 4 sports in high school. Track 4-year letterman, 2 times All-State, held numerous records at the Camdenton District, still holds the 300-meter record 36 years later.
Wow.
Was a state runner-up for the 300-meter dash in 86, and the high hurdles, he finished 5th in the state. Baseball, 4-year letterman, held the stolen bases record at Camdenton, and then was offered a full scholarship to Missouri State, where he later played a semester of baseball. Basketball in high school, 4-year letterman, a starter, over 1,000 points in his career, and still holds the record for most three-pointers made in a game with 9, a record he shares with the honorary judge Michael Gilley.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Wow.
And then football, 3-year starter, was an All-American those 2 years I told you, and all of his records that he had, except for his completion percentage and consecutive completions, have been broken by Paxton DeLaurent, who of course his head coach was Jeff Shore, who kind of implemented the change and was instrumental in his emergence, Paxton DeLaurent that is. So that is Coach Jeff Shore, and what I love the most about all these accolades and all these things is family first. And faith is right there with it. And as a matter of fact, when the Elite 11 were called to the stage as part of that ceremony, Coach always has his Camdenton hat, and what a lot of people don't notice is right there on the bill is a big cross. Carries that everywhere. And so one of the most likable guys in the country, Coach Jeff Shore, inducted in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame 2023 Elite 11 class. congratulations to Coach Jeff Shore and his entire family. What a cool day, and how cool was that to get to be part of that?
You know, it was such an honor to be invited to go and join them and be a part of that. I mean, and for you, I mean, you're kind of like the Shore's adopted son in a way, you know. I mean, they love you and you love them, and it's, you know, pretty much your whole life. So not surprising at all that they were so happy that you were there to you know, share that with them. But again, Jeff, you know, we were talking about DJ Kyle and how much everybody loves him. It's hard to find somebody that doesn't. Jeff Shore's kind of the same way. I mean, he is just such a phenomenal guy. It's hard to find anybody that doesn't just love that guy. And think of all the lives he changed as their head coach, you know, the young men and even young ladies, you know, and as being a teacher and stuff like that. So he deserves this. There's so many more of these honors to come for Jeff Shore. Just the fact that he never lost a regular season game from 7th grade through high school is unreal.
Surprising.
Shocking.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, stunning.
Pretty awesome. All right, so as we move ahead to our Lake area headlines, a lot of them this week. First, you went to the Lake Area Chamber of Commerce annual dinner this week, and we got to see COMC won the Large Business Partner of the Year, and Angie Schuster, she won the President's Award, so congratulations to them, and it looked like it was really a great event.
Had a great time. We were there representing Lake TV, and our sales manager, Marvin, and his wife, Jackie, had a really good, you know, those things are so much fun because you just, I mean, before it gets started, there's an hour or so where you just mix and mingle and you see people that you haven't seen for a year or something, you know, and get caught up with them, and that was fun. Morgan Craneshaw does such a great job.
She does.
Running that Chamber of Commerce. And this, I'm telling you what, it was an award ceremony, and it was in and out. It was quick. It was like an hour, and we were done. And
which, listen, we all appreciate, right?
We do. That's for sure we do. But so happy for our friend Angie Schuster to get that President's Award. We love her and her husband, Brian. They are so great. And Angie, of course, and her husband, Brian, were a big part of Somerset Boat Lift for a long time. They've got new owners now, so Angie and Brian have moved along. Angie's now over with our friend Scott's Concrete, with Jane and Scotty over there, which is fantastic. But there's not a better community leader than Angie Schuster. She's just fantastic.
Big Angie, Brian Schuster fan. So congratulations, and to Central Ozarks Medical Center with the Large Business Partner of the Year. Their contributions continue to be lasting and impactful. And of course, with the expansion they just announced a couple weeks ago with that groundbreaking ceremony, we expect that to continue. We're real thankful for our partners over at Central Ozarks Medical Center. Now, as we look at some local headlines, we told you Osage girls golf, they win back-to-back state champions, and for the second year in a row, it was a dominant victory in Class 2 with one player winning the individual championship. Now, the team beat out the second place winner, Incarnate Word, with a 32-stroke advantage. That's what blew my mind. They won by 32 strokes. It wasn't even close.
I mean, they just blew them out. And this Incarnate Word, this is the same school that keeps winning the girls' state basketball championships year after year. So they've got some great athletes there. And the Osage women blew them away. Hannah Mashoff wins the individual state championship. And then you've got Sophie River Sandling finished 3rd overall. Kathleen Westermeyer 24th overall. I mean, what a great team. Congratulations. 2 straight state championships for the Osage ladies in golf.
And India Aruz, she finished 27th overall. So big shout out to Travis Squire. He's the head track coach, and Scott Rowland, the assistant coach, longtime women's basketball coach, previously with the School of Osage. So 2 back-to-back state champions. And what was cool is Mashoff, she held off the second place runner-up by just 1 stroke. That 2-day score of 153 was just enough to take home the individual prize. And so congrats to the School of the Osage girls golf team. We don't always get a chance to cover some of the other sports, but I don't think there's a more important sport in high school because it's a sport you get to play for your entire life. And so something tells me these girls are going to have the opportunity to win a lot of money against friends on the links moving forward.
Probably get some golf scholarships to college and stuff like that. That's amazing. And it's interesting, you know, a couple of years ago, the School of the Osage made a conscious effort that we're going to strengthen our activities programs. We've never won a state championship. We're going to start, you know, making this a thing. And so they brought in a new activities director, Tom Gwynn, who's a great guy. They brought Shannon Jolly back. Coach Hunziker took over the women's basketball program. I mean, they have really, really stepped it up. Camdenton has done this for a long time, but Osage, boy, they have really taken a big step forward in the last few years.
A state championship's massive. I mean, it's hard to win a state championship in anything. You're competing against every other high school in the state of Missouri that qualifies in your class. In Missouri, there's either 5 or 6 classes. I believe 5 classes. And so a lot of schools are in your class. So huge, huge victory. Congratulations again. All right, so as we move ahead, update on Oasis at Lakeport, the developer of the most buzzed about commercial project at the lake. Oasis at Lakeport revealed a key detail about the planned multi-use development. The amusement park will be open to the public with no entry charge. This according to Lake Expo's article published October 19th. Jeff Tegethoff of Tegethoff Development told a room of nearly 100 real estate professionals on October 19th that the trend of sprawling pay-to-enter amusement parks is passing, and the Oasis at Lakeport, a park with entertainment, a roller coaster, food and drink, and the Ferris wheel will be free to enter. Now, this seems a little misleading, not to be critical, but this is not so much an amusement park. I mean, it's got a Ferris wheel and probably like a funnel cake stand, but you wouldn't anticipate having to pay a ticket price to get in, especially when you're going to have a wristband and passes to do any of the rides and buy the food. And so, no disrespect to Silver Dollar City. We've been a couple of times over the last month, and I guess I'm getting grouchy and old, but I say...
You and me both, brother.
I'm like, so what, you pay $89 to get in?
Just to get in.
And if you've got kids, what do you do besides overpay for food and then go into shops where you're going to overpay for everything? And I guess I'm just getting grouchy in my old age.
I'm starting to rub off on you.
I think so, but I would say I'd hope you're not charging admission when the real attraction is the Ferris wheel you're going to have to pay to get on. And of course, the water park, the 40,000 square foot water park, which I guarantee you there's a price to enter that. So I guess they didn't have any other update to give us. So at this point in time, they're not going to charge you to get in to look at the stuff.
I think that's great though, because it is different from Silver Dollar City or any of these, Six Flags. You got to pay just to walk through the front gate. But then you go on the rides, I think, for free unless you want to buy.
Oh, plus you got shows and you've got music and you've got dance parties and kids' playgrounds. So, I mean, I shouldn't have used, that might not have been a great comparison, but that's my mindset with it after going to Silver Dollar City recently.
We actually went on the same day and it wasn't even planned, right?
Yeah, and I call him to say, hey, Uncle Chris, he looks at his phone and goes, not today, I don't think so.
I was busy trying to take care of people, but,
My dad and I were watching Uncle Chris pull his phone out. I don't think so.
Put that away.
Yeah, put that away. My dad goes, I can't blame him.
But the amusement park is on track to open in the spring of 25. So not this coming year, but the year after that. And the on-site Marriott Hotel in 26. So these things are still a year and a half away to 2.5 years away, but it's on track and they're moving forward. I still don't know if they've figured out that condo situation. Yeah. I think they're still trying to deal with that and figure that out. But everything's moving along. If you drive by there on the Grand Glazed Bridge, you can see they're busy. They're blasting and moving and building a big retaining wall. And they started to dig out for their big parking garage up above. So they're busy.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I kind of like the fencing we've talked about before. They got that mesh up there and it shows the Ferris wheel and all that. Kind of creates the excitement. But we'll continue to keep you posted. I haven't had a whole lot to report in regards to Oasis at Lakeport. But hey, a couple anniversaries locally we wanted to mention just real quick. Middle of October marked the 75th anniversary for Bridal Cave.
Oh, yeah. That's right. And I mean, they had a dude there, right, that was there for the opening like 75 years ago, and he was there again for the 75th anniversary. How incredible is that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And we're look, Dave Crable, who was present for opening day 75 years ago, when he was 9 years old, took place. So that was pretty cool. Of course, if you haven't seen Bridal Cave at Thunder Mountain Park in Camdenton, worth the visit. The cave is the exact same temperature, 365 days a year.
60 degrees.
And it really is a sight to behold.
#1 overall year-round attraction at the Lake of the Ozarks is the Bridal Cave. Yeah.
You couldn't even argue that. And then also celebrating 40 years, Lake Area Industry really cool. If you're not familiar, they offer packaging and assembly service, secure document shredding, foam recycling, those things. And they're unaware, but October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and they had an open house with the chamber to celebrate. But Lake Area Industries, a great organization, and they employ 50 adults with varying disabilities in Camden County, providing them daily challenges and support to reach their greatest potential. These meaningful jobs are made possible by providing services to local businesses and individuals. And so Lake Area Industries is such a crucial organization down here at the lake. They're celebrating 40 years, so congratulations to them.
I need to call them and get them on the community spotlight.
Oh, absolutely.
I need to do that for sure.
I love that idea. And then real quick, another local headline. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but you remember the viral boat crash where the center console flipped, hit the house? Well, the person driving the boat has apparently pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, so he's a Huntington Beach, California resident. Really, he's also got a home here at the Lake of the Ozarks. So by video in Camden County Associate Court entered a not guilty plea. This is the boat that was going 80 miles an hour, whatever, hit the land, went so high it hit like the roof of this house on the peninsula, and then everybody, I don't know that anybody was killed, but there were some serious injuries. So Adam Ramirez, formally charged in connection to the July boating accident, 2 counts of boating while intoxicated, serious physical injury, and 5 counts of boating while intoxicated physical injury. So after posting a $100,000 bond in September, Ramirez made his video appearance and waived formal arraignment on Monday. His next scheduled court date set for November 27th. The court has approved that Mr. Ramirez and his attorney can appear again via video. I just find it interesting that he has pled not guilty when it seems to be pretty obvious he was pretty guilty, right? I mean, holy Toledo. How do you get out of this thing? It's like an O.J. Simpson thing, right?
Well, in a lot of cases, not to assume, but when you're driving something of that magnitude and living that lifestyle, a lot of times you have means to resources that others may not.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the legal proceeding and process, sometimes money goes a long way. And after posting a $100,000 bond and being allowed to waive his arraignment and make his court appearance via video Zoom, money goes a long way, and that might be the case here.
Maybe so, maybe so. I mean, that was one of the most incredible crashes we've ever seen here, that they were going so fast that they flew so high, they hit the top of the house. Okay, you're right, though. You know, if you have means to, you know, those lawyers can find loopholes in just about anything. So it'll be interesting to see how that proceeds.
All right, so as we look ahead to our weekly football rundown, I want to congratulate you on what was probably the craziest week of the NFL season with some wild upsets. You took first place and hold on to first place in the Pick'em League overall, so congratulations.
Yeah, I told Mrs. Uncle C, my picks are so bad, I got to be getting blown out this week, and I go look, and I'm actually leading. There were just so many upsets. Everybody had a tough week.
Yeah, it was an atrocious week for football. We're glad that it's come and went, and we can move ahead to other football. Now, as we look at Mizzou, a good weekend for the Tigers. They keep it rolling. Their big homecoming win over South Carolina, 34-12. Offense struggled at times. Defense played really strong, holding South Carolina to 4 field goals. And what I love is it comes at a great time because they have an open date next week, meaning they can rest and get ready for their Week 10 matchup. They'll travel down to Athens, and good chance Georgia's still going to be undefeated. They've got a pretty light matchup this Saturday after their open date, and so it looks like it's probably going to be 8-0 number 1 ranked Georgia playing host to 7-1 Missouri, currently sitting 16th in the country, may be able to go up or get moved back down a couple spots, but been a great season for Missouri football.
Yeah, it sure has. And again, you got to give Coach Drinkowitz and the whole program a whole lot of credit for how much progress they've made in the last 3 years. But don't count Mizzou out of that Georgia game. They almost knocked the Bulldogs off last year. They're better this year, the Mizzou is.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Georgia's better than they were last year, but they got to play at Georgia, so that's going to be pretty tough. And more than likely, Georgia's going to win that game. They'll be favored. But don't be shocked if Mizzou knocks them off. And if Mizzou can knock off Georgia, holy moly, they might have a chance at a national championship. I mean, we're talking that stratosphere now with Mizzou.
Missouri 31, Georgia 23. Missouri wins by 8, moves to 8-1. You heard it here first. That's the official prediction, okay?
Okay, you want mine?
Yeah.
Okay, Georgia 41, Mizzou 27. So I think Georgia's going to beat them. But just saying that, still a huge step forward for Mizzou in football and basketball the last few years.
Indeed. So how about those Chiefs? Pretty dominant. It was close early, but I think the concerns for the Chiefs offense might be going away. Big game for Mahomes. 31-17 win over the Chargers on Sunday. Mahomes and Kelsey were just on it. I mean, it was kind of like poetic out there watching them work. The option routes for Kelsey going wherever, and Mahomes and him on the same page.
Yep.
To the tune of 12 catches for 179 yards and a score. Mahomes was brilliant, did have the 1 interception, but 4 touchdown passes to 4 different players, and they take their 6-1 record to Denver this Sunday. And the Chiefs not only 6-1 and first by 3 games in the West, also a full game in first place in the entire AFC. So Chiefs, they're sitting pretty.
Yep.
And as far as high school football, Osage 54-0 win over Lutheran Southern. They're going to be at Warrensburg this week for the first round of the Class 4 District 5 playoffs. And Camdenton, they get a 61-28 win at Glendale, and they're going to be at home versus Rolla for week 10 of the Class 5 District 5 playoffs. Remember, they beat Rolla handedly in their season opener on Lake TV. And so both teams, an opportunity to win their opener. And if you want to see all Lake area teams and who they're playing week 10, just check out Wild Will and Uncle Chris's weekly high school football roundup on our Facebook pages. All right, so as we look at upcoming events, it's the final weekend for Weekend at the Lake with David Leatherberry
Right, yeah.
on Lake TV. We also want to remind you that Campopoly with Wonderland Camps Party with a Purpose is this Saturday, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I saw Mike Clayton at the dinner the other night. Party with a Purpose, by the way, is coming up too. If you haven't gotten your
That's
tickets
what that
for
is, Party with a Purpose.
Okay, there you go.
This one right here, the Campopoly.
There you go. And
is
so that's a
Saturday.
lot of fun. You know, that's a good thing.
And I think we're going to be there.
We're going to be there. Yeah.
Together. They got the iBerries, they got live and silent auction, and Pass Go with us to support campers with disabilities. I heard still some tables available, so if you happen to see this before Saturday, reach out, make a donation, grab a couple tickets. All right, so also the following Saturday, the 11th of November, it's the annual Lake of the Ozarks Veterans Day Parade.
That's right.
At 1 p.m.
Wow.
That'll be live on Lake TV if you can't attend in person. And Kevin Hilly will be making his Parade MC debut. And listen, I wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Hilly because by the time you watch this, we will know whether or not Kevin Aaron have won a Marconi Award.
That's like the biggest award in radio.
That's
man.
the Grammy of radio,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
And so he's a finalist for Small Market Morning Personality. So big shout out to Kevin Hilly and Aaron Hart, his co-host. I hope they take that prize. They're going to find out Wednesday about 8 p.m. So I'll be sitting there tuning in trying to figure it out because another great guy that we just absolutely
So many
love.
wonderful people in this community. Kevin Hilly is another one of those. Despite being a Philadelphia Eagles and Phillies fan, he's awesome. Love you, Kevin.
Indeed, and also want to let you know for high school football on Lake TV this Friday, we've got Cole Camp at Versailles.
Yeah.
The Tigers
Playoffs.
beat the 4 seed, and it is round 1 of the district playoffs for Class 2 District 7. Versailles and Cole Camp, and Versailles beat Cole Camp by 6 earlier this year, so look for that. Now, before we go, I wanted to offer just a final thought before we go, something that's been tugging at me lately, Uncle Chris, as we talk about football a ton, and I look at how much things like that, what's going on around the world, how much we let it take our time and our attention. And so I started to kind of ask myself, what really is our purpose? And I know that it can't just be like entertaining locals and visitors or helping people improve their marketing and advertising here at the lake. And so I keep asking myself, if we believed that what we say is real was really real, what would our lives look like? And what I mean is like minute by minute and hour by hour and day by day, what would our daily efforts look like? I mean, what would our time and our talents be spent on? And I just realized that football gets a ton of my effort, and I've been challenged in that if I say that my faith and my family are my top priorities, am I giving those things as much time and effort as I'm giving fantasy football and pick'em and watching the games throughout the week? And if I had to be honest with myself, I would say that my priorities at time are out of balance. And so my final thought this week is to just be more mindful about what my priorities are.
That's very wise, I think.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. Until next week, my friends, we'll see you then.